Hey there, this is going to be a quick tutorial on how to use Orca. I'm going to go over some general keyboard elements and how to use Orca in general for general purpose use. Okay, so let's just get started with what I'm running. I'm running Arch Linux with the latest version of GNOME, that's GNOME 3.16.1. I'm also running the latest version of Orca, which is Orca 3.16.1. Um, there are three desktop environments that are accessible with Orca. That's GNOME, Mate, and XFCE. I've had more experience with GNOME and Mate and less experience with XFCE. So just take note that what I'm saying is going to apply for mainly GNOME and the Mate desktop environment. GNOME is for computers that are, that have decent specs, and if you have a lower end computer, then I would say run the Mate desktop. Take note too of distributions. I'm running Arch Linux, and I used the Talking Arch installer to install Arch Linux. The Talking Arch installer is fully accessible, although you would need to do some reading and to get it fully up and running. Um, Once you do it, then you'll kind of get used to how to use the terminal and how to do things the manual way. However, if you're a completely new user and don't want to go through all that steps, then there is also distributions that are packaged for you. Um, with the GNOME desktop, I would recommend Fedora. Uh, if you like Ubuntu centric stuff, I'd recommend Ubuntu GNOME. Uh, if you like Debian oriented systems, I'd recommend Debian GNOME. Um, and if you want a Arch based automated distribution that's packaged for you, I would recommend Sonar Linux. Um, so the difference is in that the aforementioned distributions, not this does not include Sonar Linux. They have Orca by default, but Orca is not running when you try the distribution out or install it. Um, and note too that Sonar Linux has Orca running out of the box. So if you don't want to initiate Orca by keyboard shortcut or by running Orca from the run command dialog box, then Sonar Linux would be your best bet to try. Um, Note too that for the Mate desktop environment, Ubuntu Mate is, to my knowledge, your current best bet for accessibility. Orca is not running by default, so note too that you would have to enable Orca through the run dialog box, as I will demonstrate in a moment to show you how to get Orca running. So I'm just going to assume that that this is going to be for a general purpose. So I will try not to do everything GNOME specific. I will try to be more general purpose, and and if I use a GNOME specific desktop key, I will explain that. So let's just do a quick note about keyboards. There are Mac-centric keyboards and there are Windows-centric keyboards. Um, in Windows-centric keyboards, the layout for what you're going to be concerned with is going to be Control, Windows, and Alt. So the Control key in Linux will act as normal Windows users are used to: Control A, Control C, Control X for your select, for your copy and cut, and Control V for paste. So your normal Control plus letter functions will work, and Windows will act as a menu shortcut should it be enabled. So in GNOME, if I press Windows, the overview panel comes up showing me my open windows. There you see the record my desktop. and then there you see a dock to the left that has my favorite applications, and workspaces on the very right if I had workspaces open, and the Alt key becomes a general purpose Alt plus function key. So if I launch terminal and I press Alt F4, Alt F4 closes the terminal. So just take note that that's the general purpose. Alt F4 will close the running application. For Mac-centric keyboards, the Command key, and now comes the Windows key, and from now on I'm going to refer to the Windows key as the super key. So the Command key becomes the super key for Linux, and then the Option key becomes the Alt key, the Control key becomes Control key, and then the Function key on Macs becomes the bypass function to override Mac OS's F1 through F12 OS function keys. So if you want to do Alt F4 on a Mac-centric system, you could not press Option plus F4. You would have to press Function plus Option plus F4 to simulate the Alt F4. And this is because, like I said, F1 through F12 are binded through OS keys. So in order to bypass that, you need to press the function key to bypass what the F1 through F12 are normally slated in the OS as. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about Orca. To run Orca, generally, if you're using GNOME, you'll want to do Super Alt S.
Screenreader on.
And you hear that it turns on. And if you do Super Alt S again,
Screenreader off.
It turns off. If you're not running GNOME, the best way to run Orca is to press Alt F2. So remember, if you're on a Mac-centric keyboard, you'll need to press Function plus Option plus F2. So here, I'm going to press Alt F2, and you'll see a Run Command dialog box, and I just type Orca.
Screenreader on.
And Orca will run. That's ORCA for Orca. And if I want to stop running Orca, I do Alt F2 again.
Window text.
And I type KILLALL. That's kill all space ORCA.
Screenreader off.
And that'll run and disable Orca. So those are the ways that you would want to run Orca, whether you're using GNOME, and if you're using any other desktop environment such as XFCE or Mate, stick with Alt F2, and like I said, type Orca to run Orca, or Alt F2 and type kill all space Orca to disable Orca. So we want to run Orca now.
Screenreader on.
So Orca is running, and we're going to go over some general purpose on how to use Orca. So to demonstrate this, I'm going to bring up gedit just as a general purpose test, and we're going to type hi, how are you? Okay, so Orca has been set to my settings, but by default Orca will announce keys you type. So I brought up screen reader preferences, and this would be a good time to mention on the Orca modifier key. In desktop centric layouts, the modifier key is insert plus whatever key you want. For laptop centric layouts, the modifier key is caps lock plus whatever you want. So a quick note too about desktops. Desktop laptops usually have a number pad, which will serve as your navigational use for Orca. For laptops, to simulate this, once you hold caps lock key, the navigations turn to the right side of the keyboard. So I will simulate both of that. Here we are in the preferences.
Keyboard layout panel, desktop, selected radio button.
And we could use the normal tab
Mouse
functions.
Keyboard mouse at speak on.
Shift tab and tab to cycle through options.
Keyboard general page tab. Keyboard layout panel.
And then if we want to quickly get to buttons or tabs, we can use Control Tab.
Help push button, apply push button, cancel push button, OK push button, general page tab.
To get through, cycle through tabs and buttons.
Keyboard layout panel, desktop.
Okay, so note too that if I want to switch back to my Gedit window, I hold Alt and press Tab.
Window, edit push button.
And the application switcher will come up for what I have open.
Simple screen recorder push button, screen reader push button, edit push button.
So you heard Simple Screen Recorder. That is the client I'm using to record this video. So we're going to go back to Screenreader.
Screenreader preferences.
And this is Screenreader preferences. I want to show you the difference between desktop and laptop.
Laptop. Selected radio button. Mouse. Selected laptop. Mouse. Not mouse. Selected laptop.
Okay, so for desktop, we have desktop that's currently chosen. So when the numpad is off, your keys on the numpad will simulate what you want. So 7 will go up a line. 8 will read the current line.
Selected desktop.
And 9 will read the line under.
Selected desktop.
So 7, 8, and 9 are line up, current line, line down. 4, 5, and 6. 4 is previous word, 5 is current word, 6 is next word.
Desktop.
So that's next word.
Selected.
And then I did previous word, which is 4, and that obviously told me that it's a radio button saying selected. If I press 5, that's the current element, again, going to be spoken.
Selected.
Now, note too that 1 through 3 are character navigation. So 1 is previous character, 2 is current character, and 3 is next character.
Desktop, not selected. Laptop, M O U S U O M O U S U O M. So
that's me using 1 and 3, and if I press 2,
Mac Unicode 004D Mike.
That will give me the character. So note too that any of the current line keys, if you press it once, will read out the word or letter. So in this case, it's going to be a letter. It's a M.
Mike.
If I press it twice, it'll read the Delta language, and if I press it 3 times,
Mike, Unicode 004D.
It'll read out the binary code if you're interested in binary code. Note 2, if I press the current key for 5 for word,
mouse, M-O-U-S-E.
So once says what the word is,
mouse,
twice spells it,
mouse, Mike, Oscar, Uniform, Sierra, Echo.
3 times will give it your word readout by letter, as in terms of Delta language.
Mouse, Mike, mouse.
And then note 2 for line.
Not mouse, mouse, M-O-U-S-E. Mouse, Mike, Oscar, Uniform, Sierra, Echo.
This applies to the line readout. But once I press number 8 to read the line, just note that it's going to spell out all the words or read out all the words one by one, instead of just that one word.
Not checked present tooltips.
So if you heard I went a line down, now I'm going to press 8.
Not checked present tooltips. Not N-O-T space C-H-E-C-K-E-D space.
that once I pressed it once,
Not checked present tooltip.
it read the line. If I press it
N,
twice,
O, D,
it
K,
spells out
T,
all the
H,
words
E,
with
C, K,
if I
E,
press it 3
N,
times,
November, Oscar, Tango, Charlie, Hotel, Echo.
it'll read out. So that, just make note of those keys. And to silence Orca, it's the control key. So if it's reading,
Not N, O, D.
control, and that'll silence the readout. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, let's also make note of how to simulate left and right mouse buttons.
Not mouse. Not selected. Selected desktop. Keyboard layout. General voice speech braille key echo key bindings pronunciation text attributes.
So you notice I'm at the top of the window, and this is a tab window. So if we wanna, in navigational purpose, if you want to cycle through these elements, we would use the word navigation.
Voice, speech, braille, speech, voice, general, voice, speech, voice, general, voice.
So there is voice, and to simulate a left mouse click, then we would hit the key next to numblock, which is the / key.
Voice page tab.
And
voice
now
type settings panel. Voice type, default combo 1.
that'll get me to the tab. I show this to you now because although Control Tab would normally have done the job, I'll just show this to you just in case we're in applications that require you to be using the navigational elements and require you to simulate a left click. To simulate a right mouse click, it's the star key or the multiplication key. There is no menu option, context menu here, so that's why nothing's coming up. And so we're gonna also simulate this in a laptop sense. So right now I'm using Control Tab to cycle again through these quick options for buttons or tabs.
Cancel push, OK push, general page tab.
I'm at the general page tab. Now I'm going to use my left and right arrows to navigate.
Speech page, voice page, general page
tab. To general.
Keyboard layout panel, desktop, laptop, selected radio
and
button.
I pressed, and in the radio buttons, I just pressed the down arrow to select laptop.
General OK cancel apply push button. Screenreader settings reloaded.
Now I pressed apply to apply that setting. Now my caps lock key is going to be my my Orca modifier key.
Caps lock on. Caps lock off. Cancel push button. Apply push button. Help. General. Save as push. Close push button. Active. Time and date. Time for. Mouse panel. Present. Keyboard layout panel. Laptop. General. OK push button. Screenreader settings reloaded. Status. Hi, how are you?
Okay. So I had to press OK there to get rid of the dialog. So let's just bring the dial up again. So now that the Orca modifier key has been moved to caps, I need to hold the caps lock key and press space. So Orca modifier key plus space brings up your preferences. So this will be a good time to demonstrate the differences. So now my my keys have been moved to the right side of the keyboard. So Orca modifier, which is now the caps lock, and now I'm going to go over how to navigate with these keys now. So to read line by line, we're going to use U, I, and O.
Keyboard layout.
So I'm pressing O to go down.
Not selected desktop.
I'm going to press I for the current line to be read out again.
Not selected desktop.
And I'm going to press U to go up a line.
Keyboard layout.
Now same thing. And now the row under that, J, K, and L.
Text attributes.
J is previous. K is current.
Keyboard.
And L is next. Next word or element. And now a row under that,
text K, text attributes, pronunciation, text K, E, K.
That is going to be you're starting with the N key, N, so Orca plus N when you're in laptop mode.
Text app, pronounce key, braille, speech, voice, general.
We'll cycle through words, so
what's the break, keep text attribute, K.
here's a word.
E-Y-B-Y-E-K-E-Y-B-Y-E-K.
So K-U-I, so I'm on the keyboard word. So the what is that key? The less than and greater than, or less than and greater than will are the keys you're going to use to navigate. So M is previous, and greater than is next, and the less than is current.
Keyboard layout, general keyboard layout. Desktop.
So I'm going to switch it back to desktop, and note too that the row above the U, I, and O keys will simulate your left and right mouse. So
not selected keyboard layout. General voice speech rail key voice.
So 7 is left click,
voice page tab, voice type settings.
8 is going to be your right click, and I didn't mention this, but 9 will go into flat review, which the minus key on the numpad will also go into flat review if you're in the desktop keyboard layout. So laptop, the 7, 8, and 0 are left, right, and flat review, and on desktop the numpad will be slash, star, and minus. So slash for left, star for right, minus for flat review. So let's take this back to laptop now. To desktop.
Push, apply, cancel, OK, push, general keyboard layout, laptop, desktop. OK, cancel, apply, screenreader settings reloaded. OK, general page, keyboard, mouse, speaker, general, OK, cancel, OK, screenreader settings reloaded. Asterisk.
Okay, so we're back in my text edit window, and gedit, excuse me, and I just want to simulate a couple of extra things.
Status R. Hi, how are you?
So
how are you?
So I'm using the same keys. So right now I'm using 7 through the numpad keys to simulate or navigate by line, word, or character. So you heard it say
are you, status you are, how are you?
So that's me using 4 and 6 for previous, 6 forward,
you,
and then 5 is current. So if I press the right mouse button,
window, undo, paste, select all,
you'll hear the menu come up.
Asterisk unsaved.
And that's that. That's kind of really all I wanted to show, how to bring up a right menu. And then left mouse will obviously simulate a left mouse click. So this is good for insert fields that you want to define normally by yourself, or anything else that you want to click with the left mouse button and or click with the right mouse button. Let's see, is there anything else I need to cover? Okay. In GNOME, the global menu is going to be F10.
Press, print, push button. Text.
That'll bring up the global menu. Shift F10.
Window, undo.
Will bring up the file menu application for that application itself, and then that's that. So just remember that F10 is a global menu, and Shift F10
window undo
will simulate context menu should you not want to use Orca's right mouse function. So it looks like that should be about it as in terms of just general use of Orca. Hopefully this helps, and I will see you next time.